Boom! There it is, ladies and gents. Still not 100%. And guess what? I got my results back today and I tested positive. Bum, bum, bum. I'll tell you all about it as we move through the show. But we got another good one.
Just kidding.
Positive's a kind of a good thing, kind of a bad thing. We'll see how it goes. All right, let's jump into this thing. Here we go.
Shut up and sit down.
Is your business in need of customers? Then you found the right show. Hernan Cias is the business bro, and he makes getting customers fun and easy. Watch, listen, and learn as each episode is designed to sell. Welcome to another episode of
Business Bros!
I totally missed that. I love it.
Zang!
Hey, Han, that's the first time you heard that intro,
That's the first time I heard that intro. I love it.
All right, hit it, dude.
Man, I'm over here like, what? Wait, Nate, no, okay, all right, fine. Hang on, all you business bros out there. Before we jump to the show, just a quick reminder to please subscribe on whichever platform it is that you're listening to us on today. Give us a like, give us a follow, subscribe, drop a review, help other like-minded business owners find value from our awesome guests while we rise up in those podcast rankings. We'll sincerely appreciate every single one of you for it. And if you want to be a guest on the show, we'd love to have you on to learn from you as well. Go to www.businessbros.biz, schedule your time, and don't forget to follow us on all our social medias at Business Bros Pod. All right, everybody, we're so excited and honored to bring another incredible guest to the Business Bros Pod. Our guest today is a servant of people. From his years of service as one of America's feared devil dogs to serving the military and veteran community as the real estate agent of choice in San Diego County. Our guest has seen the struggles military families go through, and nothing gives him greater pleasure than to make PCS moves seamless and easy. For those who have served, he knows all the ways to help veterans capitalize on their benefits, and it is his distinct pleasure to remind our beloved servicemen and women that if you've served our country, you deserve to own a piece of it. Tune in today to learn how our guest's background and values drive him to be on the leading edge and make your home buying experience a breeze. Joining us today from the tip of the spear real estate team right here in sunny San Diego, welcome to the show, Jake Smoke!
Ooh, Jake, what do you think, man? You've been following us for some time, man. What do you think?
Bro, that's an awesome intro. Thank you guys so much. That's pretty damn sweet. And James, you were Navy too, correct?
I was,
nice,
you know,
brother.
Appreciate you.
I
Appreciate
get it,
the
man.
service as always.
Yeah, I get it, man. I appreciate you guys, so thank you for having me on.
Yeah. No problem. Semper Fi.
All right, let's do this thing. Jake, let's start off with the most obvious question of all.
Why are you doing this?
Because I want to know.
I want to know too, my friend. Why are you doing this? Why'd you get into the real estate space?
I love it, man. It started back when I got out of the Marine Corps in 2002. I actually put on my exiting paperwork as I was transitioning out of the Marine Corps that I wanted to get my real estate license. Well, life and everything else kind of hit me in the face and said, well, now is not the time. I was starting to get back in school and, I had dreams of starting a family, and that kind of came priority. So eventually got into real estate. It's always been a passion of mine. I really enjoy helping our service members because we don't get enough help when we exit the military. So that's first and foremost for myself and for the team that I'm a part of. That's our goal, is to help veterans. Help everyone. Keep in mind, we work with all walks of life, so it doesn't matter, a vet, non-vet, we're going to help you out. But long story short, I just want to help and educate others, especially in the veteran community. We need it, and they need the help. So I'm here for you.
And you've been at this for quite some time. When we spoke on the phone recently, you had mentioned that you've been following us for a while, which means that we must have ran into each other in person a few years back, probably at some of these real estate networking events. And it's amazing when you dedicate yourself to something and then you consistently do it every day that you begin to improve and get better at your craft. Plus, when you have a kick-ass name like Jake Smoke, like how are you ever supposed to forget that name?
Yes, that's the point. And if you haven't seen it, my truck is wrapped as well. I don't know if you guys have caught on to that. So I'm all over the map. Like I get so many people are like, "Is that really your last name?" I'm like, "Yeah, bro. I mean, remember it. That's the point, right?" So any attention is good attention, whether bad or not. So
Dude,
it
totally,
helps.
totally. Well, all right, look, there's many aspects of real estate, right? There's the commercial side, there's the lending side, there's the residential side, multi-unit, single unit, so many different things. So let's narrow it down. If you can explain it like you would to a fifth grader,
What do you do?
what do you do?
Oof, man, that's a tough question. No, I help primarily the veteran community, help them buy and sell homes. Keep it simple, right? Everybody kind of gives that answer. This process, yes, the goal is to enable someone to make that next move in their life, whether they're buying or selling, but really to guide them through the process and not just be kind of a one and done transactional person. This is about the full service. So the goal is to make sure that they can sleep at night with the decision that they're making. And also, I got to be able to sleep at night. There's a million realtors out there in San Diego County, and my goal is to really have it be catered towards quality versus quantity. I'm in this to make this a long-term deal, for myself and for my clients as a friendship, and that's what it comes down to. So,
Jake, I feel like with the military, there's such an advantage if you're in the military, especially if you're being ordered to move to different places around the country. You have an opportunity to essentially use Uncle Sam to allow you to buy property, to start establishing yourself, building your own monopoly board, if you will. But a lot of times, people in the military are just too young, mentally too young to take advantage of the opportunity that's presented there, right? I mean, can you help explain, like, what is this opportunity that veterans have that they can take advantage of while they're in active duty as well as afterwards?
So great point there. Let's backtrack just a little bit here. The active duty military folks and our veterans, we're not taught this while we're serving our country, active duty in the military. None of this is preached or taught to us. So it's just unknown, right? And you mentioned most military types are so young and so boot or new or green or whatever you want to call it. They just don't know the questions they ask.
Mm-hmm.
Bottom line. And if our military folks could be educated early on in life, and then early on in their military career, the goal would be to buy a house at every duty station, live in it while you're there, right? While utilizing your VA loan, and then pushing forward and PCSing somewhere else and buying another one at your next duty station. That benefit that we have, the VA benefit, it's huge. It's the best benefit there is. It's insane.
I mean, not just that, you get a basic housing allowance. I mean, you're able to literally let the government pay for the home that you're living in. And then after you're shipped off to another part of the country, you go and buy another one, you keep that one as a rental and Uncle Sam will keep paying you for it, right?
Yes.
I mean, come on, man.
Yes.
Like, how much more handout do you need or opportunity do you need? It's just a matter of education, right? So I guess it really comes down to, if you're working with military, how are you finding these guys? How are you getting some more customers to understand that this is an opportunity that is laying at their feet? How do they take advantage of it?
I've been fortunate in my real estate career that, being a Marine and having that background, most of the people that I interact, and even the people that our team interacts with, they're military vets as well, right? So that's an automatic, just a warm connection. That brotherhood or that sisterhood is there, and it's immediate. So that bond and that connection is there, and I go straight into it. I start asking them questions, about what their dreams are, what they would like, if they have questions about anything, whether it's purchasing a home, investing, or even VA disability compensation stuff, because I've been through that, that shit show. So it's just, I do whatever I can to help and just provide value first and foremost.
I feel like we should be selling it a different way. I feel like we should be telling them, look, how to exit the military in 8 years with 3 properties under your belt and a pension that's funded by the government but not paid for by the government. Like, I mean, I don't know how else the opportunity is huge. It's monopoly, and you're playing with somebody else's money, and you're already doing the work. You're showing up every day. You muster at a certain time. You're following orders. You're just taking advantage of an opportunity that's being presented to you.
Right. And unfortunately, you brought up kind of a triggering point for me. The unfortunate part about the military, and don't get me wrong, I loved my military time. I benefited so much from it. But the downside, my perception, my personal belief about the military is it's an extension of mom and dad. They tell you what to do, where to go, when to be there, what to eat. You're eating at the chow hall, where to live. You're on base and base housing. They're giving you everything that you need to survive. That's not really a good thing. They're not enabling you to grow outside of what they need with you to accomplish their mission. So when you get ready to exit the military, you just spent 4 or 5 years or 2 enlistments doing exactly everything they needed you to do, but you didn't focus on yourself. And that's really what I try.
I'll give you that. I'll give you that. Okay, I'll give you that. I'll give you that. Uncle Sam is an extension of mom and dad. But here's where I think you actually come into play. I feel like you're that older brother who already went through mom and dad's house, right? And like, I left. Look what I've been able to do outside of this. If I would have known this, it would have been completely different. Because yeah, you're right. The extension of mom and dad is there, but you already went through that. You're a classic example of this is what you should be doing, so that you don't get out of this and you're in the same exact spot as when you went in, right?
Right. Yeah. I mean, spend your time wisely. Try to ask the questions that need to be asked, and that takes time to understand what those questions are. But that's why I'm here. That's why my team is here. We're here to guide you in that direction if you're active duty or if you're a veteran. I mean, I still talk to vets that have been out 10, 15, 20, 30 years. You talk to some of the Vietnam vets, and they've never used their VA home loan. Like, what? Well,
let's talk a little bit about that. Like, buying a house can seem very daunting. Like, it's something that is an impossible dream to many, right? But you're trying to make it a little bit easier. So,
hey, we've got a problem here.
What problem are you solving for them? What are you helping them, as far as from having no idea of being able to buy a home to getting them their own keys?
Great question. And, being in real estate, we are in sales, but what this really, and I don't enjoy using the word consulting, right? But it's really guiding that veteran down that path and enabling myself to listen, right? I want to listen more than I do speak, right? So let that veteran speak what's on their mind and help guide them in that direction of purchasing a home. And the goal is to be there to educate them every step of the way. Getting them into a home is great, and getting paid for that is great, but that's not the primary focus. The primary focus is to enable them to purchase something that's a vessel that, it gives them a safe place to live, and it's something that's going to allow them to grow financially and hopefully guide them on their way to financial freedom years down the road. And if you do that wisely, you pick up more properties down the road as you go.
Yeah, financial freedom is ultimately that goal, right? I mean, at the end of the day, we want to be able to say, all right, I've put in my time, I've done the work that I need to do, I've made the proper investments, and now it's time for me to take some of my time back, right? And that's really what that financial literacy and that ability for you to get out of the rat race does, is allows you to buy yourself time. There are many people that are in the military that are in a number of different situations. Some of them, got in and it was the first time they're getting their paycheck, and they went out and bought their Dodge Charger or whatever, that right. Ducati that they wanted to, and money's right. already, being blown and obligated in different places. So when you're looking for people who are in a position to buy, who is?
I am looking for qualities beyond the physical.
The ideal client. Who is your ideal client?
Really what it comes down to is the clients that are motivated. Okay, I understand in this market it's tough out there for buyers. I'm on both sides of the fence, as a listing agent and as a buyer's agent. But those ideal clients are the ones that are just motivated. Okay, whether they're ready now or they're ready 6 months from now, a year from now, the idea is to set a baseline and then create that roadmap of how we're going to get you on that path to success, right? And then once we get to submitting offers and going through that, that's a whole nother hurdle. But we got to get you to that point. So even if you're not ready, understand that nothing in life is simple. It's a process. It takes time. It's going to take work. But I think most of the military types know that. They understand that.
James and I were 19 and 20 years old when we bought our first property. And a 19 and 20-year-old, at most 19, 20-year-olds have no business doing any of that because they don't know any different. And the difference between us and most people is we sat down with somebody who gave us step-by-step directions. And all we did was when they said, do this, we did it. Then they said, okay, next do this. And we did that. And then they said, do this. And we did that. And before we knew it, somebody was handing us keys to our own house. And I couldn't believe that was possible. So, when you were describing your ideal client, like what do you mean by, somebody who's willing to move forward? What is the technical know-how that they need to have in order to buy a place?
Yeah, there's not a straightforward answer to that because I really cater towards all walks of life in the military. I've worked with clients military clients who might need credit repair, or some that have 10, 15, 20K in the bank, the lucky ones, I guess, in that sense, or they might have more. But really in this market, you do have to be a strong buyer. And if you're not a strong buyer and let's say you didn't have 30, 40, 50,000 in the bank to put towards a down payment and closing costs. The goal is to get you to that point or to enable you to understand the roadmap with talking with a lender, talking with myself, and giving that person the guidance of what it's going to take to get to that starting point. Does that make sense?
Totally. And there's opportunities all over the place, especially being in San Diego, huge Navy town. We see people in ships go on deployments all the time. And there's some amazing financial aspects to ships that deploy, right? Especially if you're single. If you're willing to sacrifice a deployment and not blow all your money in all your ports, you can earn tax-free income throughout a deployment. You can pocket a ton of cash and come back with an opportunity in your pocket. I mean, am I exaggerating here?
No, you're not. And it's been a minute since I was overseas. So I went over to Iraq in 2006, and having that hazard pay and having those extra incentives, I mean, that's huge. You come back with a good chunk of change. Use it wisely. Don't go out there and buy a car like you mentioned before. Put it towards a house. Put it towards something that grows and appreciates in value. And something that you're paying down principal and you're just gaining that equity.
Totally. All right, well, let's talk about your...
Thank you so much.
You have so many different opportunities, like literally it's San Diego. I think that's what your office door actually looks like. You got people coming in going, Jake, help me out, man. I got properties that I need to buy. What's the process like? If I'm an interested person in the military, I'm ready to use my VA loan. This is something that's definitely interested. Maybe I just got back from a deployment. I got this extra cash. What's that process like?
Great question again. And my process personally, I'm pretty, I've got that open door approach. Literally, again, my number one goal is to sit down with that individual and educate you, right? Because as we spoke before, so many folks are just unaware of what that process is. So I'm going to sit down with you and just go over all the details. And I can be as high level or as low level as you'd like. Some folks are like, Jake, I want every little detail. And I'll break it down to you about the VA home loan process, what it's going to take, how much money might need to be put down, et cetera, and then talk about the getting the offers accepted process, and then moving forward. Or some folks are like, Jake, I trust you. we know that you got me. Just do what you do best and let's push forward. And then I take it from there and I just go out there and hit home runs.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about the benefits of a VA loan, because in the real estate space, oftentimes VAs get this stigma on being able to buy properties, and that's just not necessarily the case. So what are some of the benefits of coming in with a VA loan versus maybe like a conventional loan?
Yeah, and on that note, the VA buyer, once they get through that pre-approval process, they are incredibly strong. VA buyers, if you're active duty, they know that seller's going to know that veteran's not going anywhere unless they do something incredibly stupid, right? So they're not losing their employment, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's going to be no risk of escrow falling out, and this has been happening quite a bit because buyers are getting cold feet. They go in and they submit offers and they get accepted, but they're 50, 60, 100 or more $1,000 over the asking price, and they end up walking away. And it's like, and then that seller's stuck in that position, looking for a new buyer.
Mm-hmm.
But with a VA buyer, that very rarely does that happen. And it wouldn't be for a financial reason, right? Does that make sense? So that's one aspect of it. The other big key that I always try to illustrate to most sellers out there, a lot of those veteran and VA buyers, they are low key. They've already been through the shit. So when it comes to repairs and doing requests for repairs, it's generally very minimal. This might be just my perception, but most military folks are like, it is what it is. Mm-hmm. They've seen worse. They've been there. They've done that. They don't get worried about the small stuff. So as the seller, that's a huge plus.
And as far as the buyer's concerned, when they're using their VA and it comes to putting down payments, there's huge differences. Like going conventional, you could be down 5%, 10%, even 20% down, right, versus a VA. How does it work for military?
For a VA loan, there's not a requirement for a down payment, right? So they could go in with zero money down. Now, in this market, you've got to be as competitive as you possibly can, and it would be beneficial to put some money down. But in other circumstances, in the past, I've had it to where instead of putting a good chunk down, or what we're seeing a lot is the appraisals being waived. That's been happening a lot over the past year and a half. Instead of that, okay, maybe, and this is a unique situation, maybe the buyer goes in and pays for some of the seller's closing costs, right? So then you don't have an appraisal issue, right? You don't have to worry about that gap between, okay, what are we buying it for and what did it actually appraise for? Because with every VA loan, there's got to be an appraisal. So that helps minimize that difference.
Yeah, because at that point we're talking negotiations, right? And when we're negotiating, it doesn't always come down to price. Terms oftentimes are some great negotiating tactics that we can negotiate on, and that we're much more flexible with, because it can save you thousands of dollars on the seller's side, which is ultimately coming out of their net, the check at the end of the day that they're getting in their pocket. And if you're on the listing side, it comes down to that net, right?
100%. And on another note, kind of about getting the offers accepted, it's not always about just the offer itself. It's also about the presentation of the offer, right? So we can no longer do seller love me letters, kind of a thing of the past. But something that I've been doing for the past couple of years is I'll do a video, embed it with the email. When I'm presenting the offer, I'm talking about myself. I'm standing in front of this wall behind me. Of course, I've got a military background. That shows, right? But the listing agent and the seller can see me, can see my body language, can see how I'm interacting, and see how I'm communicating. That right there has enabled me to win more offers than probably anything else in my business.
And it comes down to presentation. Oh, you mean showing up, actually, being in front of a camera, saying hello?
Yep.
You mean we're limited in today's time to shaking hands and kissing babies. Don't really do that very much anymore. But standing in front of a camera and showing your personality, that still goes a long way. Jake, you got any training, anything that you're giving away to help people know a little bit more about you?
Me? I'm giving away free money.
Okay, maybe not free money, but are you giving anything away? Any trainings or promos?
At this point, I mean, we do VA home buyers presentations. The team does them. They're a little bit, on hold at the moment with everything going on in the world. But really, if you'd love to get a hold of me, there's a QR code at the top of the screen. Reach out to me. You can find me on social media. I'm definitely down for just having a low-key conversation to help educate a veteran or a VA buyer or anybody looking to buy or sell or invest in real estate.
Jake, how long have you been in this San Diego market? And I'm curious to know because the last 5-ish years, I'll even go to the last decade or so, it's been one crazy ass market. I mean,
right,
ridiculous. I thought 2019 we were about to hit that downturn. It looked like things were starting to trickle on the way down. COVID happened. The market just took off again. You got the Fed pumping in money into the economy. GDP is supposedly real high, but so is the debt that's been increasing. So it's like, okay, well, if you borrow the money, does it really count? I mean, all kinds of different things that are going on in our economy, in our market. In San Diego specifically, we've been really, really hot. What's been your take on the market and where do you think it's going?
Great question again. And so I got my real estate license. I passed my real estate exam September 11th, 2017. So
wow,
not too long, but long enough. Okay. And it's funny, I get a lot of other realtors that say, I've been doing this for 20, 30 years. And, under my breath, I'm like, well, you've had 20 or 30 years to screw it up. That doesn't mean anything to me, right? It's about what you can bring to the table. And to answer your question about the market, I still see this year, I still see it growing, appreciating, 7 to 12%. We are in a huge need for homes. Now, if interest rates climb quite a bit more, then that's gonna put us in a little bit of a pickle.
Yeah, I like how you brought up the 20-year guy because I heard Billy Jean say this the other day and I thought it was super interesting. He's like, look, have you been in business for 5 years or have you just been repeating the same year of business 5 times, right? Like there's a difference between the two. Just because you have a business, have you been growing it? Have you been getting better? Have you been improving? Have you been bringing more value to the public? Or are you just stuck in the same rut over and over again, chasing your tail for the last few years? I mean, there's a big difference between the two.
Yeah, completely. It's one of my pet peeves when somebody on the other side of the phone brings that up or they question it. I was like, really?
All right, man. Well, my last little piece here is always, if people want to work with you.
Say hello to my little friend.
How do they get a hold of you, man? Like, I know we got the stuff on the screen, but just one more time, how do people get a hold of you if they want to work with you?
Yeah, so hit me up on social media, Jake Smoke, or on Instagram, Your SD Military Realtor. The QR code that's on the screen. I've got my truck wrapped with all my information on it. If you see me driving around, I prefer a honk and not the middle finger. Hit me up. I got you covered. Really, just Google my name and you'll find me.
All right, dude. That's it, ladies and gents. All right, it's always my favorite part of the show. I get to kind of recap and basically for all you people listening and watching out there,
I'm going to make him an offer he can't refuse.
All right, look. I know you're in the military. You're living here in San Diego. You're either a military brat, means you have your parents who are in the military, or you went off and joined the military yourself. Well, guess what? It's your opportunity. It's your opportunity to become the Monopoly guy. You can easily start building your real estate portfolio one property at a time. And the U.S. government can help you do that. Just like they gave you your boots and your uniform and your 4 walls and square meals a day, they can take care of your housing crisis as well. It's really simple. All you got to do is hit up Jake Smoke. I got a QR code sitting at the top of my screen over here on the right-hand side. Click on it and set up an appointment with Jake. He's ready, willing, and able to help you, even if you know nothing about real estate, to walk you through the process and get you in a position where he's going to hand you the keys to your own home. So one more time, you won't forget his name, Jake Smoke. QR code sitting right here on the upper right-hand corner of the screen. Jake, what do you think, man? 30 minutes into your episode. Hopefully you had some fun. Did we do well? What was your experience like on the Business Bros podcast?
Bro, I had a blast. I appreciate you guys. I mean, that's great. I like doing stuff in person, but you can't beat this. I love the format. I love seeing it all come together because, you know, we had talked. I'd followed you for so long, and just to kind of see that growth. I had to do what I had to do to support you guys. So I appreciate you.
Thank you very much, man. Thank you for taking the time. Ladies and gents, we'll see you guys again later on the 4:00 show. Jake, you are one of those names in San Diego. Again, I'm going to say it. You're not going to forget Jake Smoke. I mean, when you have a name like that, you better live up to it. And he's doing exactly that. So if you're in San Diego, reach out. I'm going to drop the Instagram one more time right here. Your SD Military Realtor. Stop by, talk to Jake. Even if you're like barely have any idea that you want to get into real estate, but if you're renting, you definitely want to talk to Jake, right? Because renting is just kind of a waste of your money. I always feel like you should own a piece of the pie, and San Diego is a great place to live, retire at, buy property in. It ain't gonna go anywhere. And yes, the property taxes are expensive here, but that's the cost of living in San Diego. It is the middle of winter right now, and it's about 78 degrees outside. So
it's beautiful.
Exactly. So if you want to own your own piece of paradise, make sure you hit up Jake at your SD Military Realtor. Jake, thank you very much for coming on the show. Ladies and gents, I'm still feeling ill, but we're out here showing up every single day, making it happen, just like Jake gets up and shows up and makes it happen for you every single day. Peace, and we're out.
See ya.
Thanks for watching The Business Bros. If you're ready to get more clients and want to work with The Business Bro, visit our website, www.businessbros.biz, and click on the Need More Customers button, or learn how to generate more referrals with our video testimonial packages. Go to www.businessbros.biz and start getting more customers today.